When I was a wee nipper, one of my favourite old war films often shown on TV was the Guns of Navarone, starring Gregory Peck and David Niven, amongst others, concerning a daring Allied raid on a coastal gun battery in German-occupied Greece. The story was fictional, but several Navarone-style raids were undertaken by Allied forces in both the European and Far Eastern theatres to destroy troublesome enemy coastal batteries. However, what is less well known is a German Navarone-style raid launched in the Normandy campaign to destroy a German coastal gun position that had fallen into British hands. One of the major preoccupations of the Normandy landings in June 1944 was the elimination of defensive enemy coastal batteries that formed parts of Hitler's Atlantic Wall defences. Some were damaged or destroyed by aerial bombing or naval gunfire, and some were precisely targeted by Allied raids, such as the Myrabella gun battery assaulted by British airborne troops and the German battery atop Pont du Hoc by US Army Rangers. Some, however, fell without much of a fight, particularly as the Allies began to advance inland, and the German battery at Vasouy, located between Honfleur and Trouville, was simply abandoned by the men of the 266th Marine Artillery Abteilung as British forces approached. Before we get to the raid, a quick word from our sponsor. A VPN, short for Virtual Private Network, is a cybersecurity tool for privacy and security. When you connect to it, a VPN creates a secure tunnel. It secures data traveling between you and the VPN server. Encryption scrambles data, so to anyone outside the encrypted tunnel, the information looks like gibberish, meaning no snoops can sneak a peek at your online activity. A VPN enables you to browse safely and privately with just a few clicks. With NordVPN's MeshNet feature, you can share files between devices securely, no size limits and no quality downgrade, in addition to secure file sharing. You can also access your devices remotely. It even browses through another linked device using its IP. See the link for NordVPN's exclusive deal. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. NordVPN. Sign up now. The problem for the Germans was the fact that the gun crews at Vasouy had failed to destroy the guns and ammunition and range-finding equipment before running away, and a completely intact gun battery fell into British hands, who could have used it to bombard German positions in the port city of Le Havre, still held in August 1944 by its German garrison and only 7 kilometers away across the Seine estuary from Vasouy. The battery position consisted of 3 15-centimeter KL-45 guns in concrete casemates, plus 4 2-centimeter Flak 28 Oerlikon anti-aircraft cannons, plus a concrete fire control post and other buildings, all manned by German naval artillery troops before they evacuated. The decision was taken by German Naval Command that the Vasouy battery had to be eliminated to protect the important fortress of Le Havre. An attempt was made using about a company of naval infantry that went cross-country from German lines in an attempt to capture and destroy the battery, but the unit was wiped out by the British in a fierce firefight. The Germans, however, decided to turn to one of their most specialized commando units. The German Navy, in fact, had the perfect unit for such actions, a special covert unit of frogmen and small craft experts, codenamed Marineeinsatzkommandos, or MEK. Activated in June 1943, 3 units were initially created, each consisting of 1 officer and 22 men plus 15 vehicles. During operations, each MEK would receive further drafts of specialist troops, depending on the missions, from men manning human torpedoes, Linsen attack boats and midget submarines, canoeists and frogmen, sometimes swelling an MEK to over 150 men. Overall command of the Naval Commando Force was Korvettenkapitän Heinrich Hoffmann, and its chief instructor was a very talented commando officer, Oberleutnant der Marineartillerie Hans Friedrich Prinzhorn. MEK 60, commanded by Prinzhorn, had already taken part in several attacks. The German Naval Commando Forces had initially been trained by the Italian Decima Flotilla MAS, commanded by Prince Giunio Borghese, one of the best naval commando forces of World War II. The first action of MEK-60 occurred on the 23rd of June 1944 during the Battle of Normandy, when frogmen, using two modified 800-kilogram torpedoes, managed to destroy two bridges the Allies had captured over the River Orne. In July, the unit, manning German Neger human torpedoes, had a few successes against Allied shipping in the English Channel. Operating out of Villers-sur-Mer on the 8th of July, 12 Neger craft attacked Allied ships. The Polish cruiser ORP Dragon was badly damaged and scuttled on the 20th, and the Royal Navy destroyer HMS Isis was sunk. Also in July, MEK-60 frogmen destroyed the lock gates on the Orne River. Now it was the turn of the Vasouy gun battery. Prinzhorn selected a team of 7 enlisted men for the attack on the battery, who would blow up the guns using special explosive charges. However, getting to the guns required crossing the Seine estuary. On the 26th of August 1944, Prinzhorn launched his operation. The first attempt made to cross the Seine estuary was using an infantry assault boat that failed due to engine problems. However, Prinzhorn obtained 2 Linsen boats, and they were ideal as they were fitted with double noise suppressors and could run relatively silently at 8 knots at slow ahead. The Linsen attack boat was a specialist craft that was usually packed with explosives and steered towards its target by one man who would bail out, the Linsen being controlled by radio signals from a following speedboat, the first craft ramming at high speed into its target to destroy it. However, for this operation, the explosive warheads were offloaded, and Prinzhorn's team was divided into 2 sections, 4 men to each boat. They also took with them 2 inflatable rubber dinghies, and they boarded the rubber boats to paddle from the Linsens through a protective German minefield to land. But they actually landed too far west, and had to make it stealthily on foot along the beach towards where the target was located. By 02:30, the teams were 100 meters from the battery. Prinzhorn and his men were not spotted by British sentries, who, Prinzhorn said, roamed about the site, quote, without conviction, end quote, and he and his men set to work placing explosive charges on the 3 guns set in their concrete casemates. Charges were pushed into the barrels of the German guns, while other commandos squeezed into the casemates to set charges against piles of shells and other equipment. British sentries occasionally passed by, but no one was spotted. Setting the detonator timers, which would run for 4 minutes, Prinzhorn and his men silently exfiltrated from the battery and made it back to the beach and launched their rubber dinghies. At that moment, the explosive charges detonated. As they paddled back to the waiting Linsens offshore, casemate number 1 was completely destroyed in an enormous explosion, as it appears that the British had concentrated most of the ammunition for the 3 guns inside this bunker. All that was left of casemate number 1 was a smoking hole and shattered blocks of concrete. The 2 other guns were also successfully spiked, and the battery was no longer any threat to German-occupied Le Havre. In recognition of the success of the operation, Prinzhorn was awarded the German Cross in Gold on the 30th of August 1944. He and his unit would have several more adventures during the Battle for Normandy, but those will be the subject of future videos. Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon. Details in the description box below.